Together, growing in faith, changing communities.
Together, growing in faith, changing communities. My dear brothers and sisters, this morning I would like us to reflect on the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 9, from verse 26 to verse 31. In those days, when Saul had come up to Jerusalem, he attempted to join the disciples, but they were afraid of him. I would like us to unpack that phrase. When Saul had made a decision to come up to Jerusalem, to join a group of believers, he was unable to be with them because they were afraid of him. They could not be with him. They could not stand him. They were afraid of what he has done. They were afraid of what he had done in the past. They were afraid of what he is capable of doing. They were afraid for their lives. Now, there are groups of people here that are worth considering. The first one are the disciples, who are afraid of Saul based on their past experiences of him. They are afraid of Saul because of what they were told, that Saul had died. They were afraid of Saul because they wanted to protect their lives. What are you afraid of? What am I afraid of? What is my greatest fear? Am I afraid of dying? Am I afraid of losing my children? Am I afraid of failure? Am I afraid of rejection? Am I afraid of being alone? Am I afraid of losing control? Am I afraid of seeing my spouse withering, sick, dying in front of me? Am I afraid that my children will become like me? Am I afraid of raising my children alone? Am I afraid of being raped? Am I afraid of not being able to live up to my dreams and expectations? What are you afraid of? And if you see these disciples, they are afraid of Saul because of certain things in the past. How many of us have remained victims of the past? I know what happened. It lingers in my mind. And so, while I think I've walked away from the past, but the past has a way of catching up with me. The way you drink frightens me because you're going to end up like your dad. And we buried him because of his drinking. It worries me how you live your life, because it seems as if you've thrown everything out. It worries me how you behave, because it seems that you want to become a lone ranger. My dear brothers and sisters, at the depth, at the core of our fears lies reality. Am I in touch with that reality? Am I aware of that reality? Something else that also speaks to me, it speaks of Saul himself. He wants to go back to Jerusalem. But go back to when Saul left Jerusalem. He was breathing fire and murder and threats. Saul went to the high priest. They gave him permission to arrest and to kill the Christians. And he must have probably told his friends, I am going to destroy them. I am going to get rid of them. So little did he know that God will always prevail. There are some people in life who've spoken ill of you, who've judged you, condemned you, spoken evil about you without getting to know the real you. There are some people who've judged you based on what they've heard about you. There are some of us who've made decisions. I will never talk to that person. I'll never ask for help. My children will never play with that. There are some of us, when things were okay, when we had everything in life, we walked on hills and we knew no one. We were the best things, and life knocked us down and we are wearing palms. Be careful of what you say about people. Things will not always be like this. Things can change, and things do change. The only thing in life that is constant, that does not change, is change itself. And now I'm seeing Saul, how is he able to go back to the community? How am I able to accept you as my brother? To accept you as my sister? How am I able to sit with you at table, having lied about you? He left Jerusalem high on a horse. He comes back like a dog with a tail between its legs. Ignatius of Loyola has a beautiful principle. It's called the discernment of spirit. And in the discernment of spirit, he argues, when you are super excited, never make a decision. When you are sad, depressed, never make a decision. And he talks about consolation and desolation. Because his argument is quite simple and sensible. I am most likely to make a decision that I'm most likely to regret later on. It's like when we were growing up, our parents told us, if you pass this, I'm going to buy you that, and you passed and you never got it. And so you leave having failed yourself. The other thing that also touches me, God raises Barnabas, a son of encouragement. And as he raises a son of encouragement, Barnabas is able to see Saul. But he sees what Saul will become. He sees what God will work in and through Saul. Let me make a typical example. Come here, brother. What? Look at this young man. No one knows what this young man will become. Only God knows what this person will become. I often argue that God planted a tree. He never gave us a podium. He never gave us a bench. He never gave us a frame. He never gave us anything sculptured. He only gave us wood. And so some people took wood and made fire. Some people took wood and made a podium. Some people took wood and made a bench. Some people took wood and made a frame. Be with someone and love them, yes, for who they are, but also learn to love them for who they are becoming. I do not know who this young man will be in 10 years from now. They are seeing Saul the murderer. Meanwhile, God sees Paul, the man who writes 13 epistles, 13 books. They are seeing Saul, the one who destroys the church. Meanwhile, God sees the greatest evangelist. I'm seeing a young man that we call him Para, and yet God sees someone great. I see a young man, a young woman in a club drooling out of drunks, and yet God sees something great. Never give up on a human person. You and I do not know the plans that God has for each and every one of us. Who are you going to become is not determined by the state of your life today. Today things may be bad. You may be an underdog. Things may be terrible. You may be knocking at the doors and they are shut right into your face. People may be calling you names. You may be believing that you are a failure. Not in God. Not in God. May the Lord give us the wisdom of Barnabas to see each and every one as we are becoming, as we are growing, as we are fulfilling the purpose and the plan of God. May the Virgin Mother of God continue to be with us, to protect, to bless, and to guide us. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Thank you, Secretary.